Keep It 100, the Coach Jones Show on this Wednesday morning. Folks, I tell you, it was a long week last week, but hey, we survived, we made it. We're here with Coach Jones this morning. We're going to talk about last week's game and talk about the future of the Del City Eagles. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing good. I've been licking my wounds for the last 5 days, tough loss.
Yes, sir.
Tough loss, and anytime you lose in that fashion, with an upset like that, it's pretty tough. But you got to give your hats off to Bobby Klink and what they're doing in Sand Springs. We've been talking all year, even since the summer, what type of program they were. You put them right there with the Deer Creeks, where they could be the dark horse. And I was worried all last week because I knew what kind of talent they had. I knew what kind of coaching staff they had, and I knew what kind of players they had. And they came out and played, and they outplayed us, and they outcoached us, and they got a great victory. And hats off to them for that. I'm not going to be a sore loser and say a lot of things that could have happened and would have happened. No, they beat us, and they beat us fair and square, and they beat us on our home field. And as a program, we got to get to those positions where we win those type of games, where we got the 1 seed and we're at home. We got to go win those games in the future, and we're learning from that learning experience. And now that my emotions have been able to calm down, and I've been able to kind of gather my thoughts. This senior class set a legacy and standard that's going to be hard to keep up with, but I think we got the kids in this program and the coaches to be able to do it. So hats off to Sand Springs and what they did last Friday.
Well, Coach, like you said, it was a tough loss. It all kind of started off, weird, from the kickoff time going from 7 o'clock to 7:30. And I know people, you get in the routine, you eat at this time, you watch film, you tape and all this, and people might think, hey, 30 minutes is going to benefit you, but no. It's kind of like putting a baby to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know what time that baby, you're going to lay them down and put them to sleep. And so it kind of throws the game off. So it kind of puts you guys, and I said, hey, that's the cost, but it does put a little dimper in the game because, hey, we're used to being, kick off 7 o'clock. Now you're kicking off at 7:45, 7:50. It's almost 8 o'clock before you even kick off. So
and I think it affects the home team more because you're sitting in the locker room more.
You're sitting there.
When you're driving on the road, you're like, damn, we get that extra 30 minutes. We can kind of stop at the restroom, get something to eat. But when you're the home team, you're in that locker room for the extra 30 minutes, I swear it felt like a extra 2 hours. I was like, dang, what time's the game start? It was a little bit darker. So it definitely was something to get adjusted to, but we got to learn how to get over those things in the future and be a program that no matter what we're faced with, we got to be able to get over those things and be able to try to get the win.
Well, Coach, you can't, like I said, you have a heck of a season, from the season before, going 4-6 and coming back this year going 9-2,
yes, sir.
And you look at what you've done with Del City from the previous year. You got to be tickled with yourself and pleased with the seniors because those guys could have easily threw in the towel from what you did the year before to coming back this year, with the Jason Smith and Ethan Lawrence and these guys stepping up and winning district. And I know in your mind, yes, district is good, but in the back of your mind, you'd rather be playing it one more week.
Absolutely.
You'll love to have another shot at Deer Creek, and chance to go play for Biggs for the state championship. Because everybody's picking Biggs to win, but I kind of told you just the other night.
You never know. Strap your helmets up and go play. You never know what can happen. Bixby might be an injury, and I don't wish nothing bad on Presley, but what if Presley gets hurt in the first quarter? Or, we had that injury with Jason, and we've been healthy all year.
Yes, sir.
And Jason gets banged up, his shoulder gets banged up in the first quarter. That stuff's going to happen. It's football.
It's football.
Alabama gets upset. The Cowboys got beat by the Broncos by 30.
Man,
so
talk about that, Coach.
OU got upset by Baylor. So anytime you play a football game, it's a chance for the other team to win. Now, is it highly likely that Bixby will win it? Yeah, but it's always a chance for somebody else to come in and knock them down because of injuries, because they're high school kids and emotions. So I wouldn't just rule out those other guys. They're too dang good to be doing that.
Yeah, like I said, with everything that went on, like I said, from last year, this year, you're getting regional coach of the year. So you guys accomplished a lot of big things here, and and the future's bright. You guys are moving down to 5A, and I'm telling you right now, every team that's in 5A football is worried about you guys. They got you guys circled. There's a good chance that you and the school that you went to can meet up next year in the state championship, Carl Ivory, So I just say, Del City has the future is bright for them, what you've done and what you're going to continue doing with the legacy here at Del City. You're going to keep bringing the A game and keep making these kids bigger, stronger. Because your first year, now you're the head coach, strength and conditioning, and you're going to get these guys right because you got a lot coming back.
Absolutely.
It's not like you lost a lot; you got a lot coming back.
We're very young.
And looking at some of that eighth grade team that ran out with you guys on Friday night, hey, you got to tell back, man, the eighth grader, man, I'm just telling you,
He's going to have a good chance to start inside linebacker for us as a freshman. He's He's wrestling with 205 right now.
Hey.
So he's gonna have a chance to play. You know, I played with his father. His name is Rickland Holmes, and I played with his father at Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir.
He's a great kid. Academically, he excels. I think he's gonna have an opportunity to play for us as a freshman. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, let's talk about some of the guys you will lose, though. You know, like the Jason Smith and the sack king himself. You know, I mean, those are some shoes that you would have to fill. But let's talk about some of those guys, some of the senior class that help you get to the winning the district this year. Let's name a few of those young men.
Absolutely. And before I get started on that, I kind of want to talk about some of the accomplishments, if that's okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I spoke to the team. And Monday, normally on Mondays after the season, we check in equipment. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to the senior class. We're going to have a party. We got pizza for them. We got the district trophy. We took pictures together because it needed to be a celebration. Yes, it didn't need to be like a funeral type feel because we accomplished so much. First, starting off with beating Carl Albert for the first time in 30 years. That's huge. And then beating Midwest City and Carl Albert in the same year for the first time in history of Dale City. That's huge. And being Mid-Dale champs. And then beating Midwest City at home for the first time in 12 years.
Yes, sir.
That's another accomplishment. And then beating Stillwater at home. We gave them that first home loss since 2016. And then we gave them that first district loss for the first time since 2017. So those are great accomplishments. And then winning district in 6A for the first time in 22 years. So those are great accomplishments that nobody can ever take away from these kids. And then also averaging 40 points per game offensively. And then everybody knows, I don't know the exact number what we gave up defensively, but everybody knows what our defense was and what they brought to the table this year. So when you start looking at all those accomplishments, and then you add on Darius Hampton breaking the sack record with 20. So when you add on all those accomplishments after starting 0-5, then going 4-6, and then getting a new head coach in.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't get to do the things that I wanted to. Now that I'm a first-year head coach, and I actually have an off season to be able to dissect things and be able to implement schemes, implement the character program starting in January. Actually, starting next week after Thanksgiving break, because we're getting this thing rolling.
Yes, sir.
So now that I'm able to do those things, I think it's going to really help us out, and I think that things are going to be real bright in the future as far as the program. Starting with the seniors, man, and starting up front with the offensive line. We start with Gay Rios, Quadre, Gilbert, and Kyron Lindsay. Those guys, what they did offensively, most of the games we went in because Virgil needed experience to grow up. We had to be one-dimensional some games, and for people to know what's coming, and for you to still be able to average 300 yards a game on the ground, that's amazing. Even last Friday, we got 256 yards rushing.
Man.
So the offensive line, those seniors up front, Gabe, Quadre, and Kyron, they did their thing, and I'm excited that they set that legacy and that standard. It's amazing. And then you go to the quarterback, Virgil Yates. What he did this year, I don't think people understand how hard it is to play that position, quarterback, and everybody's like, why don't you throw it? Why don't you do this and that? Virgil did the things he needed to do to help us be successful. He went from playing running back and playing linebacker to playing a quarterback. And mentally, he did have freshman mentality mentally because you never played the position. If you never played the position on a high level, then you get back there and you're going against these great teams and you're able still to throw completions and run the ball like he did. That dude will be forever remembered as one of our great quarterbacks in this program. So Virgil, hats off to him. Yes, and then you go to the backfield with Jason Smith. Everybody knew what he brought to the table. He was a punisher. He was a bruiser. Anytime we needed a spark offensively or defensively, he brought that to the table. I'm very excited about him. I still think, even though we lost, I still think he's the most underrated player in high school because anytime you get a guy that's 6'2", 245 pounds that plays with the physicality that he plays with, you got to give him his looks. And he set a standard for our linebacker group, and he set a standard for our running backs. So Jason was big time for us. And then you go to Ethan Lawrence. You look at his story. He's here as a sophomore. He wanted to play more on varsity. He wasn't unhappy. Then he goes to Westmore, and he has success as receiver at Westmore. Then he comes back over here, and we put him at running back. And I believe he got 1,000 yards.
Oh, he had 1,000, Coach.
Yeah, he had 1,000 yards. So for him to be able to do that and switch positions and be able to make that change and be able to be successful, Ethan Lawrence was very successful as well. And then for him to be able to play safety. He never played defense in his high school career on the varsity level.
Wow.
He didn't play at Westmore at all. He just played one way. So for him to be able to play running back and play safety and have the year that he had as safety, that's remarkable. And that's a testament to what type of kid he is. When you go out wide with our receivers, Jaden Jones and Titan Denton, my heart goes out to them because, I feel like if we did have a quarterback that had more experience and even Virgil, I feel like they get more catches. Jaden had 4 catches. He did some special things on Friday. So he showed what kind of talent he
Is
can be.
that number 14?
Number 14 and number 5.
Okay, yes.
They're great players, and I feel like they were just in the offense at the wrong time because Virgil just didn't have the experience to get them the ball consistently. But they didn't complain. They blocked linebackers. They blocked consistently game in and game out, and they helped those running backs be able to do what they were able to do. And they set a standard for receiving as far as blocking, so that's going to be able to progress on to the next year. And then you go to the defensive side of the ball. We already spoke about Jason and Ethan, but you go to Brian Starker. You know, Brian Starker was another guy beside Jason that really helped with the run game. He really did some successful things. You know, he battled with some injuries throughout his career. I feel like he really worked on his pain tolerance and being more tougher in that position. And he really set the tone too for linebackers. So that was great. That's crazy. I think that's most of our seniors. If I'm starting to think about it, that's what's so great. We got a lot of guys coming back.
Got a lot of guys coming back.
That's our whole senior class right there, you know. Want to make sure I didn't leave nobody off. And all the guys, like, we have some guys behind the scenes that play scout teams.
Yeah, that helps.
Like Logan Wright, like, that helps for them not to be able to have a negative attitude and say negative things in the locker room, for them to still stay positive and support everybody. That's big time. So you see, I didn't really name that many seniors. So we got a lot of guys coming back. And like you said, we're dropping down to 5A. We're excited about that. But I told our kids, just because we're dropping in a classification,
don't mean it's
nothing changed, because it's some good teams. Coweta, Callisville, Carl Albert, Midwest City dropping down. Bishop McGinnis, you know, Bishop McGinnis has 4 losses, and you see what they did to Arbor last week. They're a tough team, and they're a team that, honestly, in my heart, I'm thinking they're going to be in that title game. I just feel like they have the pedigree to do it. They've been there. They got a tough running back. They play good defense, and usually when you have those things, it usually ends up helping you in the playoffs to get to a state championship. So those seniors set a legacy and standard that I think is going to be remembered forever. And I told them in the team meeting, if we do happen to win state next year or year after, whenever we do it, I want them to come back.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to fundraise to be able to have money to provide them that state ring. Because I honestly don't think you get there without them. And I'm real big on honoring people that have got you to where you are in your past. So when that does happen, I want to bring them back and let them get that, because we don't get that state ring without what they did this year. So they set a legacy and standard that will be forever remembered, and I'm excited about them going on to their futures. A lot of them are going to have an opportunity to play college football. A lot of them are going to be able to go on and do great things in life, and I think our program helped them get there.
Well, one thing that you done with these seniors, you know, you taught them to, you know, hey, diversity, hey, you know, you lost last year, now you guys become winners, and you taught them to become young men. Yeah. And that's the thing about these guys, going to forever never forget is that what you taught them. Yes, everyone has to lose a ball game. We know that. Yes, I mean, granted, if you lose this round, second round, or you lose in the championship round, somebody has to lose. But something that these guys have learned, it's okay. You do live to see another day. And that's the most important thing about it, because football is only for so long. You know that. You played at the highest level you can play at. And guess what? Eventually you're done. Now you're out here coaching. Now you're trying to help other young men to get to what their dreams are. So I really look at it as that what you've done with Del City, man, no one should ever hold their head down. I think it was, you know, it was a bad season. We got beat. Yeah. It's part of, you know, it's part of the game, you know, and like you said, there was a lot of upsets last week. Not only did you, I know everybody had their money on that Choctaw, you know, Del City game. I mean, everybody across the state was talking about it.
But you felt like Deer Creek, and I do get that to you. You said it 5 or 6 weeks ago. You said Deer Creek is my dark horse. They play well. They got a great offensive line. Sexton is unbelievable. They're putting him at D tackle. He's a disruptor. He can arguably be the best D tackle
in the state.
You know, and one thing I want to comment after the loss that I really commend our guys, Coach, they didn't throw helmets.
Nope.
They didn't
keep it 100.
Mad. They went over there and put their finger up and did the fight song. They got on the right knee and spoke to me, and they did things right. And that's a testament to the character of our program. When you lose, I told the kids when we got them on there, I said, we're going to lose the same way we won.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to get mad. We're not going to blame the refs. We're not going to get silent on social media. We're going to do the same things we did when we win. And that's big, because you got to show those kids that you got to keep moving forward. Yeah. You can't change your character because you lost. You can't point fingers. You do the same stuff you did when you won, you do it when you lose. And I'm glad that our kids were able to do that.
I love that you say that, Coach, because, you know, like right now, you know, when we're doing the talk show, we're keeping it 100. But you get so many people, when you win, they want to tell you their stats. They want to tell you what they did. Yes. But when you lose, they want to go hide and hibernate. And I tell you, like you said, you win with class. And one thing that I've been this year that I've been tickled to, you know, I'm going to say it. I've been tickled to watch this show, do this show, also to watch you play, that how you guys carry yourself, you know. I saw one young man get upset and the coach kind of grabbed him. But, you know, you look at some of these guys across the state, the way they carry themselves, the personal fouls, the jumping off sides, the non-discipline. You know where that starts at?
It starts at the top.
Starts at the top. It's kind of like a kid being bad.
Yeah.
If your mama and daddy gonna let you be bad, you're gonna do bad things.
Absolutely.
But if you snatch them up and say, hey, you're gonna do the right thing. And that's one thing about you. Your face impression didn't change. Was you hurt? Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Everybody's hurt. You're hurt before those boys.
Yeah.
You know, you lived another season. Hey, you got a lot coming back. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna get this rolling. I know what I got to do to get over that hump. It's like I said, sometimes losing helps you become better.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't. You're not hiding. You was on Twitter the next day.
And that's the deal. In my heart, I was like, did I want to get on Twitter? No, I didn't want to say nothing on Twitter. I wanted to hide because you can arguably say that was the biggest upset of this.
No, Coach, you can't say it's a big upset. You know why? Because I'm telling you right now, you have two great Division I ex-players going at each other. And it's the thing what happened, Coach. The ball just didn't bounce your way. Mm-hmm. It happens at times. I'm just telling you. I watched that whole game, man. You're sitting there watching the whole game. And like you said, when we talked on the phone the other day, one thing you said, the defense did show up second half. I mean, showed up a little bit, but offense got clicking. Yeah. After Jason got that 53-yard touchdown, I'm thinking, it's ball game. Yeah. I'm sitting there, it's ball game. Absolutely. I mean, the kid makes a Reggie Bush run. I mean, it was just because I'm thinking, speed up, go, speed up. And he did. I mean, he cut here and cut back. And once you got that lead, I'm thinking it's over. Yeah. But then we had one little Miller breakdown, the kick, and it happens. He's an 18, 17-year-old kid. Yeah. He's going to make a mistake. But did you go over there and chew him out? No. You pat him on the back and say, hey, let's go. And a lot of times that defense usually comes up. Yeah. But, I'll tell you one play I will say that, and you don't have to say it, I'm going to say it, is on the goal line, the touchdown. It should have been blown. I mean, the kid stood up for 3 minutes, and if you let anybody stand for 3 minutes, Coach, you're going to get in the end zone.
You get somebody hurt. And the thing that we're so down about is we've been in that position it was going to be fourth down, and we've been in that position.
And they got to kick the field goal?
Yeah, we've been in Bishop again. If we were in the same position, we got to get the field goal or try to go against our D-line and get it. So, like I told our kids, you got to be in positions not to put yourself there, but that was questionable. And going back to the Twitter stuff and saying stuff, what this senior class did to me, and that'll be interesting in class moving forward. Anytime a kid makes it through your program as a senior, they deserve for you to speak up on social media.
Yes, sir.
They deserve for you to give them a shout out because they put a lot of sweat, blood, and tears into your program, and they helped you be successful. Like I told our kids, I never put on a helmet. I never put on shoulder pads this year. You did. So it's the only right for me to give them the recognition after we lose because kids are looking for that. They're at home on their cell phones. They don't know how to deal with these emotions like we have as grown men. So that tweet, that message on social media, it builds them up. Yes, so that's why I wanted to do that, and I pray that a lot of people do that because kids need that, man.
Well, they need that. I mean, and think about it, like you said, it can't be, what have they done for me lately? I'm looking for the next group.
Yes, sir.
That group, what you just said just 5 minutes ago, if we win a state championship in the next 2 years, I'm gonna get those guys rings.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not like you're done with those young men.
No.
Those young men are still in the back of your mind. You still love them. I know you get a lot of these coaches is like, hey, I'm done. Look at my next class. Hey, we're getting ready for this class. And that's where one thing, and I'm gonna say it, Coach Rose has done, put that in you guys, is that one thing you watch about Carl Albert, I don't care if a kid played 20 years ago, he played 15 years ago. If they make it to the state championship game, you're gonna have 10 to 15 guys on that sideline supporting them. Don't know one kid on that team, but it's my alumni. So I'm gonna go support my alumni and make sure I'm there locked arms with them for us to win another state championship because that's what it's all about.
Yes,
but some of these other teams, they don't do that, and I appreciate it all the time. It starts with your alumni. It starts today. Hey, when those guys start having kids, they want to bring their kid back to Dale City, bring them back to Colorado or Midwest City. My alumni are so down right now. It hurts me, but as part of the game because I tell you, what you've done this year. It has to look at other coaches and say, am I doing the right thing? Am I looking myself in the mirror? Am I doing the right thing? Because, look at a lot of these jobs are starting to come open now. Good jobs, but you know what? You got a great job because I'm telling you what you got. You didn't even talk about what you got coming out. We talked about what you lost. We haven't talked about Stone. We haven't talked about Foreman. We haven't talked about Sweet. We haven't talked about Canigel.
Yeah. I
mean, those 4 or 5 guys right there are D1 prospects.
Absolutely.
They already got offers. So, and tell you, and I will keep it 100. When you win, people always want to join the team. Yeah. They want to jump on that train.
Absolutely.
And so when you're winning, you're going to have people knocking on the door.
Absolutely.
Can I come to Dale City? They're not going to be running out on the other side of town trying to put on the whatever colors they got out
that
there.
happens more in Oklahoma because I coached 9 years in
Yes,
Texas,
sir.
and I feel like the UIL is a little bit more strict on transfers and things like that. I've watched it progressively over the last 20 years. I'm not going to say names, but the programs that are winning in Oklahoma, they massively get move-ins.
Yes.
They get kids that you've seen playing other places.
Coach, you ain't got to say the name because I can keep it 100, but
They
hey,
get players.
right.
So usually when you win, you get people that want to move, and that's a testament of your program
Yes.
because they want to be in that program, they want to be at that school, they want to be part of the character building, they want to be part of the academic success as well. But when you win, you get people. Alabama gets transferred.
Yes, sir.
OU gets transferred. So when you win, it brings people to your school,
Brings
not
them
only
to
for
your school.
athletics, for the overall of the program as well.
Why you think Carl Iverson have been successful? It's not like, hey, those guys, hey, well, if I'm a person, I'm military, and I got a choice to pick between a Carl Albert or Miller City, I'm probably going to go to a Carl Albert because, one, they're winning. If my kid plays football, I'm going to go there. And parents do their research before they send their kid to a school,
Absolutely.
especially that being a military base or government base. So
Yes,
you
sir.
got that choice. And what you've done here and showing people, hey, what Dell City has changed the culture of, what we got here. Because before, like we talked before, people look at Dell City as, oh, this is some bad school, kind of like the whole deal with the Stillwater deal.
Yeah, man.
And that's sad that in this society we're still having that because and we both know. It shouldn't be that way.
Yes, sir.
We don't teach our kids that. You don't teach your kids that. But to me, I always say this stuff is always taught at home. But the only way we can break that barrier is teaching people that, hey, going to Dell City, you're gonna still get a good education.
Absolutely.
You have a white principal in Miss Hill.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're sitting over here that school they had on the TV that Joe Carter was the principal and he's carrying a
man.
bat. Dell City's not like that.
And that's what people think, and that's sad because when we interviewed with the Daily Oklahoma and Sardis, and I never heard our kids say it. I know they felt it, but when they said that they feel like their peers look at them as game bangers,
It's sad.
look at them as thugs, and I look at a kid like Virgil, David Stone, Jaden Foreman, Kanaja, kids who do things right every day.
Yes, sir.
They come to study hall, they go to class, and I'm like, for people to paint a picture of them because of their skin, that's just sickening because it shouldn't be that way. We got to move past that in America. We got to look at people for their hearts, their actions, and what they're doing, not because their skin color. Because
You're right.
that's just not right, man. You shouldn't look at people's skin color.
I tell
and
you,
do that, man.
it really bothered me with watching that video last night.
Yeah.
Because my kids are biracial, and
Yeah.
I don't never teach color in our house. And for somebody to say Dell City, does this remind you of home? With the police siren. That's sad. But hey, folks, this is what we do. We keep it 100 because hey, we're still gonna do this show, once a month. It's not over. Me and Coach Jones still gonna meet once a month. We might do it at different locations. We might try to hit some different restaurants in Dell City and different places just to bring them some advertisement because this is what we want to do. We want to put the show on the road, but also we want to let people know that hey, granted the season might end last Friday night, but we start the new season today.
Yes,
and I know he's excited. He's tickled to get back to work. Yeah. But Coach, before we get out of here, let's name some of the guys that you do got coming back. So those coaches, whoever's gonna watch the show tomorrow, they can feel those new guys coming back. So
we're starting off offensively. We're gonna have a good quarterback battle. We got a sophomore, George Goose.
Yes, sir.
He got to play some. He's a baseball player. He can really wing it. I do want to throw the ball more successfully next year, and I want to throw more per game. Then you got DeMar Turner. He played some running back for us against U.S. Grand. He was a player of the week. Had 112 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's going to battle it out with George and may the best man win.
Yes, sir.
And they're both athletically good enough to where if they don't win quarterback, they can play another position. And then, we're going to move Jalen Sweet back to running back. Jalen Sweet was a running back his freshman year, and then we wanted to get him involved on the varsity side of things. So we moved him to receiver because we had 2 good tailbacks with Jacoby Smith and Laquan Brown. We're going to move him to running back. I'm very excited about him.
Yes.
It's what he could do with the ball in his hands. It's just kind of similar to what I thought with Ethan. I feel like if Ethan was touching the ball any time from 12 to 16,
oh, yes.
out of those 16 touches, he's going to do something special eventually. So with him going to running back, and then we're also going to move Jaquan Howard. He's going to get a lot of running back reps. He was one of our starting outside linebackers, number 25.
Yes.
He's going to split carries with Sweet. I like the two back running.
Got to have 2 backs.
Yeah, and it helps you let those kids play both ways as well. Then our offensive line. Our offensive line is going to be we got 2 guys coming back, Rayvon Swindle and Jalen Owens. And we got this is going to be the biggest offensive line that I had since I've been at Dell City. We should be, at least everybody should be 270 plus. We're going to have a couple guys that'll be 6'3" and above. So the future's bright there. Then you got David Stone and Jaden Foreman coming back.
Yes, sir.
Those guys are 2 high Power 5 caliber type defensive line guys.
He can play on the offensive side of the ball too.
They're gonna play offensively too. You know,
sir.
we need to utilize them better next year, just because when you got guys that are D1, you get them the ball.
Yes, sir.
It ain't no other way around.
Find a way to give them the ball.
Find them, you got to. You know, and both of those guys are coming back. They're only gonna improve and get better. I'm excited about that. Then you got Kanaja. Kanaja's gonna end up being a 4-year starter. I think when it's all said and done this year, and Jaden Foreman, David Stone as well, they're going to get a basketball state championship, I believe. You know,
yes, sir.
If I had to pick my team, it would be Del City. So that only adds to the character of your program, because kids are learning how to win, learning how to be in pressure-filled moments, even though it's not football. And you got Kanaja coming back, a 4-year starter. He's the #1 DB in the 2023 class. I feel like he should get the attention that Gentry got, because he's a player. He can play safety. He can play DB. He can play
he'll come hit
receiver. He'll come hit you. So Kanaja coming back. And we got a couple receivers. Blake Barker, he's 6'3". The kid you talked about, the baseball kid, he's going to be back. I think he's going to give us something.
I think that kid's going to be special.
Yeah.
I do.
He's going to give us something we haven't had since the Foreman kid, Jeff Foreman. That's a taller kid that can go up and snatch the ball. Then we got another kid that's 6'3", Omar Brown. He plays basketball and he does track as well. Then you got Brendan Adama coming back to safety. He got a lot of valuable experience this year as a sophomore. He won player of the week for us as well.
Yes, sir.
We got him coming back, and we get Dede Godwin. We're getting him straight now. He's eligible this week, so he's going to basketball and be able to help them out. He's going to be a weapon for us. And then we just got overall the coaching staff. We haven't talked about that enough this year. You know, when you get a coaching staff that is coming together for the first time in April, and that's able to mesh together and do what we did, that's amazing. So for us to be together a full off season from November all the way to August, I think the coaching staff is only going to flourish. We're only going to be better. And then the overall culture of the school and community, I think we're going to continue to mesh together when everybody gets over this pain. And I just think the feeling of the program, the bonding, the meshing, it's all going to be great. And you get those players coming back, I think things are going to be awesome.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff because, like I said, I mean, with all that coming back, man, you know, you guys gonna be a front runner, you know, for a state championship in 5A. I tell you right now, Kawita and Bishop McGinnis, you kind of talk about those guys in Guthrie. It just puts more pressure. I think 5A is just became as tough as 6A big, and then I think 6A small. I'm just telling you, man, all those teams are over there clicking their heels and happy because you guys are gone and Midwest City gone. So now you guys, and Bigsby gone as well. Yeah. So I'm just telling you, you let 3 big powerhouses get away, and and like I said, Bigsby and Del City, I'm gonna keep it 100. Should have been in the state championship, but hey, it won't happen. So next year we can look for Del City, doing some big things in 5A. But I tell you, Del City will open up. You didn't get it this year, but you will open up against the Yellow Jackets in week 0. Yes, and I tell you, it's going to be good to see both teams, and it's going to be a lot of bragging rights from now to that game of going into, 0 week. And I just tell you, 2 former Carl Albert coaches, that's coach under Coach Rose, no hatred and nothing, but it's always a little bit of bragging rights, friendly competition. But
back in the day when we grew up, and you even see it in college, teams played each other.
Yeah,
the bragging rights of sports is huge. I want to play every team in this area, and if we lose, I'll be a man and come on this camera and be like, man, they were the better team. They outcoached us.
Hey.
But I want to play Carl Albert. I like to play Carl Albert, Midwest City, and Choctaw just because they're in the area.
In the area.
And then now they know, well, what if we played you? What if this? What if no?
Let's play. Let's play. Hey, we gonna play it tomorrow. You don't care. Yeah, we can have a pregame before the game. I'm
excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. Corbin does a great job over there. I'm looking forward to it. It's only gonna show where we are as a program, and I'm excited about it.
Well, Coach, like I said, man, you got to keep your head up, man. That's one thing you did do. Even Friday night after the game, you sent me a text, man, and like I told you, man, I look at you as like a little brother, man, and I think what you are doing here is outstanding, and everybody in the community is taking note of what you're doing. Everybody is going to get on board, and like I said, this summer, this spring, we'll get out there and knock on doors and get everybody to come back,
Yes,
and I know it bothers me because I know this game Friday night we'd have more people in the stands because everybody wanted to see that Choctaw Del City game. They're like, hey, well, I'll catch you next week. I'm coming next week.
Hopefully it teaches the community.
Yeah, you got to come. You got to come with us.
Nobody lightly in the playoffs, man. Anything can happen.
But your attitude overall was just great, though, man. And like you said, it all starts at the top, man. And that's what people, like I said, I'm still going to say vote for this guy, Coach of the Year, because what he's done with this program, and you look at some of the other programs, man, it's crazy because it all starts right there, man. And like we talked about, and I'm gonna say it again, it starts at the top, man. Mm-hmm. If you're a knucklehead, if you let them act like a knucklehead, that comes to you. They don't come because I'm telling you right now, You're not getting phone calls saying, "Hey, DLC was just ruthless and gangster last night. We don't want to come back and scrimmage those guys." There's teams out there that don't want to come play people because of the way they act. And I'm a firm believer. If you act like a fool, I don't want to hang with a fool.
Yeah.
And
The biggest compliment this year for me was when Kel Gundy called me and said, my dad, which his dad has watched Midwest City games.
Yes, sir.
He's watched 100 OU games, Oklahoma State. He said that was the most well-coached high school team, not only on the field, but they played with class. They didn't let the other teams, when the other teams spoke to them, they didn't pay attention to him. When he said that, I was like, we're headed in the right direction. And I love that because our kids are focused, they're doubting, they understand character. And that's only going to build them up as a black African-American and some are, our Caucasians and Hispanic. It's only going to show them how to act when they go get a job at a Dell, or they go get a job at Amazon, or get a job with you. They're going to have to learn how to perform and learn how to make mistakes and make adjustments throughout their life, and learn how to handle adversity as a parent and as a man with a career. And I feel like I accomplished that with these seniors, and that's what's most important. Football is going to run out.
Yes, sir.
It's going to run out, and it's ran out for some of these seniors. And I think that they have the life skills from this program to be able to go out there and be successful, and that's what we want with our program.
Well, Coach, before we go, let's pick a couple games. I know now you get to sit back and kind of be the man and watch games and cheer for for some of your compadres, but like the Deer Creek Sand Springs game, who you think will take that?
That's a tough one because we played against both of them. They're very similar. Mm-hmm. They have great head coaches. I'm a true believer in offensive line play. I think offensive line play definitely decides a lot of games, and with the way they played against Choctaw and the way Sexton can dominate one side of the field, and they can put him at H-back, put him at tight end, and they got another tackle that's pretty solid. 70, I don't know his
70,
name.
Yeah,
and the quarterback plays great, and they're very disciplined, and they're going to shock a lot of people. It's going to be a close one, I think it's going to come down to the whoever has the ball last, but I got to go with Deer Creek. I got to go with Deer Creek just because that offensive line is so great, and they get to swallowing you, and they get to kind of
putting their hands on you, wear you down for a quarter.
They enforce their will. And Sand Springs has a great defensive line. They got two great defensive ends, so it's going to be a battle. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win it, but I have to go with Deer Creek there. And then with Bixby and Stillwater, I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. I really do. I think Stillwater has a great staff. Their defense is unique, and no matter who you are and where you are, it's tough to prepare for that. But I got to go with the champs. They're going, I think, 46 games in a row, I believe. They're very explosive. When I found out the score of the PC North game was 65-0 at halftime.
I might have caused that coach's job.
And we went to overtime with PC North. This shows what kind of program they are. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. But I got to go with Bixby there, honestly.
Well, Coach, those are some great picks. I'm gonna go with Deer Creek, and I'm gonna shock the world. And it's something I said at the beginning of the year. I said it'd be Dell City and Stillwater for the state championship. I still got one of the teams still in. I'm going to tell you, the closest game, I went back and I did my research just the other day, the closest game that Deer Creek, Stillwater, Bixby's had all year has been the Stillwater game, 42-14. They held them to 42 points, so I'm a firm believer. I think it's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
And I think that, you give that Stillwater coaching staff enough, because this game was built up the year before. They didn't get to play because of COVID.
Yeah.
So Bixby kind of wanted like that Choctaw Bixby game, Bixby came out and said, let Choctaw know you're still a little brother to us.
Yeah.
And we're going to beat you 70. But I think Stillwater is going to have enough in the tank where they win the game. I think the game's going to be closer, like you said. But I'm going to pick Stillwater with the upset. You heard it here first at Keep It at 100, Coach Jones Show. I'm going to have Deer Creek and Stillwater in the championship, and Deer Creek will win state this year.
I'll tell you what, Stillwater ended the season on 4 shutouts. So that defense is playing outstanding. So that's a great pick, and we'll see how it works.
Coach, I just kind of like we talked about, man. It's you never know what's going to happen. I mean, if you looked at Sand Springs and you guys, man, I don't even know what the point spread was. Do you even know what the point spread was that game with you guys at Sand Springs? It had to. They had to have you guys by a few touchdowns.
Man, honestly, talking to people, everybody thought we would beat them by a couple of touchdowns.
I really did too. I really thought the game would be over at halftime.
Yeah.
But I tell you though, and I'm a firm believer, if you let the underdog stay in the game, he's gonna bite you.
Give him some
I believe that, because
when you're the favorite, I can't.
You play tight.
You play tight. You feel that pressure, and you just like, I can't lose. I can't lose.
You can't lose.
And when you're not,
they had nothing to lose.
That's how we played versus this year. We played versus Carl Albert, Stillwater, all those teams. We play loose. We play fun. So when you're loose anything can happen.
I told my wife, she came to the game with me, she's not welcome no more. So sorry, Jessica, we love you, but you can't come no more.
Yes,
You and Zoe go shopping, then we'll call you. But no, I told Jess, I said, Zoe look like the same team I've seen. It seemed like the guys are kind of uptight. And it's tough because you did play. You didn't have the season you wanted last year, and you do have the season. Then you just coming off with being a district championship.
Yeah.
So everything's on you. You're tight. Everything's tight.
9-game win.
Yeah.
I think if we lose
a game in there, so
yes. Game, we kind of get back to the drawing board. We figure out what's going on. We still probably win district, but we're like, damn, we got to make the change. When you're winning 9 in a row, everybody's patting you on the back. You go out there and you kind of play tight.
It's like you're scared. Like you don't want to make a mistake. They're gonna be yelling at me. I'm gonna make a mistake.
Absolutely.
Remember, you watched Sand Springs when they were warming up. They out there just dancing,
Losing,
sleeves off,
yes,
and it was chilly. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
By the time I got in the car, I had to unthaw myself. But like I said, overall though, Del City had a great year, man, and you can't complain. But we will keep doing the show. Me and Hatchet start probably doing the Coach Hatchet show with basketball. And I know you're excited now. You get to be AD and go watch games and
watch
enjoy
the other
it.
sports, absolutely.
So it's good stuff. Well, anything else, Coach, before we get out of here?
Well, yeah, just the end of the year, like I always say, it takes a village to, build a program. You don't build a program by yourself. So I want to thank the administrators, Ms. Hill, Mr. Crawford, Mr. B, Ms. Stansberry, Andy Collier, the athletic director, for giving me an opportunity, and Dr. Cobb. And I want to thank the community and families and friends. You guys supported us all year. You supported me to get the job, and I'm thankful that I was able to reward you with a successful and exciting season. I'd like to thank the staff as well. The things you do behind the scenes in the classroom is amazing. Building our young men up in education, because that's what's going to be the thing that holds them for their future. And I want to thank the parents as well for trusting in me and trusting to help mentor your young man. And I want to thank the seniors one more time. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for setting the standard. Thank you for giving me everything you have. And we will bring you back when we do win a state championship. You'll be part of that. So you're always going to be remembered. I want to thank the custodian staff for keeping this place nice and clean and having us a nice workplace to come to. And I want to thank Tony, Tony and his wife, for the things they've done for us this year. This show has brought a side of Del City, been able to show a side of Del City that wasn't shown in the years past. So this show has been a blessing. We started off doing 12 minutes. Now we're doing 50 minutes or more. So I'm very blessed for keeping it 100, keeping Tony and his wife, and the gift cards that they provided for the players of the week is amazing. And I'm excited to continue for this show to grow. We're going to do it once a month. I would like to do, and I didn't bring this up to you, so I'd like to do Ego of the Month.
Ego of the Month?
Let's do Ego of the Month to bring a young man on.
Yes, sir.
It could be basketball, football, whoever.
Yes, sir.
Bring them in and let them be interviewed and let them, the future of Del City be shown with those athletes. So I'm thankful for the show, and I'm looking forward to it in the future. And I'm excited to watch some of these great games this weekend and be able to relax and just be a spectator and kind of get some of my dark hair back. With this gray hair. So
hey, Coach,
great.
I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate you letting me do the show.
Yes,
you took a shot and let me do the show. But I want to thank Shannon. Folks, you guys don't see Shannon behind the scenes. He does a lot. He gets us set up. He's the man that does all this for us. He don't get all the recognition. I know Coach Jones do get shot up, but like I said, he's the one that gets this going.
Yes, sir.
From the table to the backdrop to the chairs and everything. So
before we go though, big shout out to you winning the championship.
Oh,
last play game. I hope he puts it on here.
Taking those out to his left to pass.
Championship game on a last second throw. It was amazing. Jones,
sixth grade
championship. Anytime you win a championship, I don't care if it's kindergarten, sixth grade, whatever. That's a testament to that coaching staff and what they did. So big shout out to Tony and Bo.
Ty, Bo's little brother.
Yeah, little brother. So big shout out to them and big shout out to Tony for winning that championship. That's big time. And they went on a last second throw, and that's amazing. So I know that was a great feeling. So big shout out to them for that.
Thank you. One thing I did tell Coach Jones before we go, though, I did say, I don't know how you do it. I called him and I said, Oh no, you do it. I wouldn't. We won the championship. We had a dinner right afterwards, and it's funny because we had all the decoration, and my daughter says to me, she says, "Dad, what you guys would have done because everything says number one. If y'all don't lost, y'all would have been number two." That's my kid. That's it. She just thinks outside the box. And I said, "Well, baby, I'm glad we won." But I told Coach Jones, I said, "I don't know how you do it week in and week out." I went home after that dinner. I was supposed to go out with some friends and celebrate. I went home and went to bed. I climbed in bed. I was sitting on the couch. I was catching the end of that Oklahoma State game. I called Coach Jones the next morning and I said, "I don't know how you do it." I had one game that they're in my ear and I'm screaming at Roman like, "Leave me alone!" And I see Coach Jones, man. I was like, "I don't know how you do it week in and week out because." Especially those overtime games, you got me stressed out, and you're trying to do everything not to lose the game because I don't have a kid on the team, so I'm freaking out like these parents are gonna be mad if I lose the game because they love you when you win, but everybody's against you when you lose. So that's the thing about a coach is it's a tough job. But I told Coach Jones I got more gray hair that Saturday night than I did the whole time, during the season. But I tell you though, it's I look up to this guy. It's funny because my brothers they came to the game and they were tickled, and my baby brother's like, "Man, I think I want to get back in the coach now." He asked his wife, Lauren's like, "What I need to do to get back in the coaching?" And he has a good job at Tinker, but that just tells you inspire these young men with what you've done, man, and I tell you, it's tough, I mean, I hate to say the African-American deal, but it is tough, doing that and what you're doing with these kids. Is everybody got to be tickled, man. So if you're looking for a good school, here's the place right here. That's not recruiting. I'm just telling you, he can be a 5th grade, 6th grade, starting right here with the Eagles. But folks, I appreciate you guys that watched the Coach Jones show. It's been a heck of a season, all the way to week 11. Granted, it got cut short, but like he said, we'll do it once a month and we'll do it at different places and we'll bring on different young men and women. And it could be a female because, like I said, they're part of the sports deal. I got a young daughter myself, so we need to promote women's sports. But like I said, folks, once again, if you have a vote and you can vote, go vote for this young man, Robert, Mr. Jones, Coach of the Year, because I'm telling you, he deserves it. I know everyone's going to talk about Deer Creek's coach. Yes, he did good things, but this is the guy that put something together that had a losing season and brought him back to a positive winning season. So once again, thanks again for watching Coach Jones Show. We'll catch you in a month. See ya.